All right, so there's a song I was listening to, and I'm very fond of. It's a great song. It's beautiful. But anyway, there's a line in there where the woman goes, the nun who was teaching her at Catholic school told her that fear is the heart of love, and that's the moment she never looked back and never went back, etc. And it made I love the song, but that's beside the point. But it makes me think back to all the times, and there's so many things that have been done and said to me and or about me throughout this lifetime of this stuff. That I should try to explain it somewhat, I mean, I guess it bothers me a lot. I want to try to go into the history, some of the early history of this and cover that, but I also want to talk about why I want to doing that now. It's just, so apparently, if people think I'm gonna make it or whatever, and I talked a little bit about that, they don't really say much. It's conversation's kind of low key, not much said, but but then after the tune inevitably turns, and then it's the tear Dave down again side, and it's like, and everyone thought, it's like, really? I mean, where have you been? I mean, everyone who thought that they were going to get this thing together with me or what have you, and had they not been? Where were they when they paid this guy off in the rape of my childhood and then rewarded him to sexually stalk me, violate my privacy and my life, and to engage in creating an ever more malicious and perverse and obscene, racist, sexist, and just monumentally offensive narrative about me that is designed to remove any of my actual person from what people believe that I am. Which to me means, and the chances of it actually happening are pretty small, very small, really. It's entirely because of honestly, a few women who I've managed to have some kind of communications with at times that I have even considered, that I've gone to, at this point, such great lengths to try to do the thing, to try to make good, I'm only here for this life, and it will end, and will I ever do the thing? I don't know. Honestly, I don't. But I would talk about the early. The other thing is that I'm constantly surrounded with people who all are self-appointed experts on the entire situation, and they've been entirely informed of the situation by people who are not only exploiting and violating me and my privacy, and are promoting knowingly false narratives about me, to aggrandize somebody who derives pleasure by harming and violating and imposing himself upon me, which is pretty much the epitome of, perhaps that's not the right word, but check your sources. If you're getting information from somebody who has a particular bias a certain way, then that should reflect how you view that story. And everybody thinks they know everything about all this stuff, and mostly think I'm a complete idiot. And okay, fine, So, as I've said, this whole thing started when, why the other guy is there at all is because I'm just a hardcore leftist, and always have been, As a teenager, I used to go around and, talk to people about communism and socialism and stuff like that in sort of, crafty ways to suggest that, it wouldn't be nice if everyone was, treated fairly and equally, and then introduce a situation in which, basically a communist system were put in place, and people were getting downright enthused about that, and I said, well, that's communism. People were like, shocked and appalled. They hated that. So when some guy starts screwing my girlfriend when I'm in high school, or just out of high school or whatever it was, and she threatened suicide, I couldn't dump her, so it went on. And I handed it off to that guy, and then the abuse from that and that point, it just ramps up. The whole way he gets to be somebody is by saying nasty shit about me on the thing, and that's kind of all it is. And all of this, everything from then on, is an extension of the fact that that's why he's there, because he hates my guts. and they wanted someone to be the anti-Dave voice, right? And I don't know. There were some. In any event, very early on, I knew that was what they were doing, and that honestly, I probably wouldn't have much of a chance. And then there's always, back in the days, be like, oh, get back, And I did, I went back at stage at concerts and met authors and things like that, and it never, and actually knew some people who were actually in a big band, and never made a damn bit of difference for me. For years this went on, and all the while, the other guy, the moment he shows up at a Smithereens show and gets back, bam, he's hooked up on the jet for Hollywood, big time, all this, yada yada, so on and so forth, and people don't understand that fundamental truth. They think that I'm just some slacker who hasn't done shit, or that I'm just a drunk or whatever, And yeah, I do drink, and often too much. I have a very, very stressful life. I quit drinking for a while, just because I was kind of bored of it, and was looking to do different stuff. And that's the time they brought all the shit back, and it just exploded in my face. And they exploited the fact that I wasn't drinking to do their damnedest to keep me sleep deprived, through various and sundry noise methods and whatnot. Wasn't good. So in those early days, the other guy was always, promoted for trashing me or putting me down. And I'm sure I said unkind things about him. I know I've said unkind things about him. He's an asshole, frankly. But that's, at this point, I just think he needs psychiatric help, because that's beside the point. But there's been so much stuff over the decades of this thing that have been like my moments of, that was the moment I knew I'll never go back. When they know who I am and take my actual person and throw it out the window and create this entirely fictitious version of me and push that on the world to satisfy that other guy's, bizarre homoerotic fantasy of me at the expense of me. I mean, it's gay conversion therapy. I know I'm repeating myself, so this stuff. But it's one of those things where you go around and everybody is an expert. Everyone knows more about the situation than I do, and have been encouraged to be pretty damn disrespectful to me. And I don't expect respect or anything. Honestly, if I had my druthers, I'd be anonymous nobodyhood is what I really enjoyed the most. That ain't coming back, I don't think. But now we're back to where we started with the first video, where it's over. Okay, I mean, I don't. Maybe they've got something planned, and then somehow they're going to make it happen. I don't know. I'm not. There's nothing I can do about it, and that's about it. So, talk a little bit about the early days. There's so much that went on in those early days that was so nasty, and there's a reason why the other guy, and I ran in completely different circles in high school and after and whatnot. I'm a hardcore leftist, what you might have described as a druggie at some point or whatever. I mean, not really, but I like psychedelics and smoking pot and partying and doing stuff like that, But, whereas he's a very much more socially conservative guy, although he might be a centrist or whatever. Politics doesn't really matter to me that much, but the amount of stuff that I hear about myself constantly and I'm unable to intervene in or say anything about, and the stuff I hear about the other guy based on just sheer bullshit, everything from it's pretending to be me and passing itself off as me, which is very, very common, and in fact it's bragged about quite a bit, to these just ludicrous narratives in which it so far outshines me. Why am I even there? And the thing is I don't agree with that. But on the other hand, if that means you'll leave me alone and I can go do my own thing with my life, if that, I took that option. That's what I chose to try to do when I left California in 1990, at the very end of 1996, very beginning of 97. And I never went back until very recently when I tried to get out of LA to try to make this thing happen, which of course it didn't. Other stuff happened. It's kind of freaky, but as per usual, this video is not what I expected it to be. I hope it's a little bit shorter. And I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to go with this channel, when I'm going to wrap it up, or complete the project, or maybe at some point there'll be people on here I can interact with, or have questions, or want to know about certain aspects of all this stuff, or what have you. And maybe not. I don't know. So there it is. Thank you for watching. Peace.